there that I thought it was going to be more, but I can understand it. It was a good one. It was interesting at the same time. I highly recommend it.
Welcome back to another episode of Classy Nerd Talk, where we actually talk about why no one dies in G.I. Joe. No, I'm just kidding. But today,
not in this episode anyway.
In this episode, we talk. I'm with Mr. Burkolater and
Titan.
Titan is
Paulie
here
over
today.
here.
So we are actually doing a playlist that we've been doing for a while. A segment called "Movies Then and Now."
I'm then, and he's now.
So pretty much that kind of sums it up in a little bit. I'll just sum it up in a little bit more. What it is I pick a movie from my generation, from the 90s to now, and I challenge him to watch that film, and then he does a review. And then he picks a movie from his generation, and it's from the 90s,
Before 1990.
Yeah, before the 1990s. And then I review it, and then we talk about it. Okay, so first off, I'm actually going to let you go first on this. Your movie,
I can do that.
Your movie, you picked
Romantic
movie. So I made you watch 10 Things I Hate About You. So take it away, Titan.
Well, when you said that to me, I thought, okay, a teen movie. Here we go again. All teen movies, teens coming of age movies are pretty much the same. They want to get one teen to date another teen, and then there's usually full of some dumb jokes or cliches. You've got some crude stuff in it, that type of stuff, and most all of them end in a prom. Yeah, go figure. Anyway, now some of them are good, some of them aren't. Over the years, it's like, but it just sometimes when you watch a handful of them, you're like, oh, it's the same thing over. My gosh.
Yeah, they kind of recycle that concept and that idea a lot for romantic teen movies.
Yeah. So with this one though, I might refer to my notes a few minutes if I'm looking at my notes here, just so I can get a few of the names straight, that kind of stuff. I might be doing that here. Again, 10 Things I Hate About You, 1999. Talking about these teen movies, some of the more recent ones people remember would be like Clueless, She's All That. In my time period, probably would be 16 Candles, Weird Science. And I don't know if you ever watched Breakfast Club, but it seemed to me as far as teen movies, Breakfast Club was one of the ones that broke that mold. It actually was something different.
Yeah, it was something.
It was more about
them being
how they feel, how they interact, how they really are, and it more portrayed, I think, real teens than than actual teen movies do. Because everybody's got their cliques and stuff, but I thought Breakfast Club actually really narrowed it down. It's like, hey, he's a jock, but it's just because of his clique, his surroundings, that kind of thing. Yeah. Inside, hey, there's probably a pretty good guy there. Yeah. Or the nerd or geeky guys like us, hey, there's probably a decent guy in there somewhere. Yeah. So, or with girls, the cheerleaders and stuff, that type of thing, or the reclusive type person. There's something there. It's about people, which is cool. Excuse me. Even though with this, let's go over the plot. The movie's about an older sister who's too smart, too abrasive, has no friends except maybe one, and her name is Kat, played by Julia Stiles. She has a younger sister who's pretty, fun, a little bit ditzy, and that's Bianca, and she's played by Larissa Olenek, if I pronounce that right. Olenek, their father, Larry Miller, has done a lot of movies. He's pretty cool in this. He tells younger sister Bianca that you can't date until your older sister dates, which of course it's like, that'll be never. So she can't go to prom, can't go out on a date, nothing like this. So the whole movie's about that. How do we get Kat a date? So let's see. So of course he thinks this will keep his daughters out of getting in trouble, out of the maternity ward, all this kind of stuff, because he does this kind of joke through the whole thing, because he's a gynecologist, always out delivering babies, always stuff going on, telling his daughters, hey, you're going to get pregnant no matter what you do. So it's kind of a little funny side thing for him. But anyway, the whole plan about this thing backfires when Cameron, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, likes Bianca. So he and his friend Michael, who is David Krumholtz, conspire to get somebody to take Kat out, which of course is Patrick, played by Heath Ledger. In order to do this, they don't have any money. They're like, how can we talk him into it? The guy's kind of portrayed as this real tough guy, real troublemaker. They say he's been in prison and all these kind of things. Maybe even ate a chicken live, I think, or something. A duck. Yeah, that's
feet or something like that.
Except for the beacon feet. So that was kind of crazy. So anyway, then they have to get this guy, Joey, who's like, the slick back guy, good looking guy, he's got the car, got money, that kind of stuff. They need a benefactor. So like, hey, he likes Bianca too, or so it seems, wants to take her out. So the whole premise is if they tell him that if they can get somebody to take Kat out, then he gets to take Bianca out. So he puts up a bunch of money to have Patrick, which is Heath Ledger, take her out. And it kind of goes from there. So, again, it's like a lot of the other teen movies, the things that go on. I actually kind of like the movie based on the kind of the way it was done. For me, though, I mean, if it's 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it, say, an 8, maybe a 7. Basically because it was just like the other ones. I didn't care for the guidance counselor parts. Now, granted, you did, and I borrowed a movie from Austin here, to Sir Burkolater to watch. It was the 10th anniversary, so it has some behind the scenes, which kind of helped because it kind of gave you some more insight of the characters and what was going on, and it showed you some of the deleted scenes.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad, at least as far that they changed all the guidance counselor parts. So when you see the movie, the stuff she's talking about and doing in here, she's trying to write romance novels or something like that type of thing. So she's always doing weird stuff, asking the kids, giving poor guidance, very poor guidance. But the show some of the scenes that they cut out, and I'm glad because those were more crude and more really not fitting to the story. The ones they did put in were a lot better, even though you could have done the movie without her, I guess. So anyway, the best parts to me in the movie was Heath Ledger serenades Kat in the athletic field. When he first gives the one kid money, I thought, okay, what's going on here? He gives the kid money, then they show the scene where he's in the office turning on the PA system. I thought, oh, he gave him money so he could sneak in the office. But you find out a few minutes later, after he starts singing, which was really good, and that the kid he gave money to was the leader of the band, so he'd have the band play music for him. Gosh, and I won't forget the movie. It's not "Baby I Love You," but it's something along those lines. Yeah. So it's an older song, which I thought was really good because I love you, baby, yeah. Baby. So he sings this song, which is an older song, which kind of like okay, in a way out of place with the movie because all the other music is more 90s movie, and it's like, oh, he pops this out, and everybody on the athletic field stops, and they're like, what's going on? And it's really, really good done.
It's a very humorous part, because the part, because like the security guards are trying to catch him, get him off the mic.
After he kind of dances a little bit back and forth. That little dance thing. Oh, man, that is the best part of the whole movie. Another part I liked was when the girl's father, Larry Miller, sits down towards the end there to talk with Kat, Julia Stiles, and kind of explains, this is what a father's duty is, and this is why. It's a real touchy moment. He could have drug it out. He could have started crying and made it mushy and stuff, but they don't. He just lightly tells her, hey, this is what I got to do and why I have to do it as a father. It's basically explaining why he acts the way he does towards him about not going out, not getting pregnant, all this kind of stuff, and saying, hey, if you go to a college somewhere else, I won't get to see you, won't get to be your father per se, that kind of stuff. And he makes it a sad enough moment that you get drawn in and feel for it, and then they just have a nice tender hug there, which is really good, because they could have just went, oh, God, oh, and they didn't. I thought it was very...
They kind of don't draw it out. They just, it shows like a very honest moment. That's what I want. That's why I thought it was really good with that. Very
good. I did like the English teacher, Darryl Mitchell, a.k.a. Tommy Weber from Galaxy Quest. When he rapped Shakespeare, I about fell off the chair laughing when he did that. I think the second time he told Kat, ordered her to the office basically told her to get out that second time. I think that was probably one time too many because he was a little over the top. Now, I did think that the banter between him, Kat, and Joey about him bad-mouthing her bad-mouthing him stuff, I thought that was pretty good. But I did like him as a character. I think he'd be a pretty cool English teacher if we was back in school and we had one. I think that would be good. And then, of course, the music. I love the music, especially love the band, Letters to Cleo, and I don't know who the band was that they had at the prom, the other lady. But I thought that was really good the way they did that. And then when Letters to Cleo, the lady singer, she comes down off the stage and kind of points over to the couple, to which was Kat and Patrick, and then walks back up. I thought, that was a cool way to do that. And, of course, he says he pulls in a couple favors to get her, just to tell her stuff. But, I don't really know how it was actually supposed to be done. So, But that's kind of my review of it. I enjoyed it. I'd recommend it to people, especially, if you're younger and you like these kind of movies. Again, it's the normal coming of age. You've got the normal crazy stuff teens do. You got to have a party where somebody gets drunk and does something crazy, and then you got to have a prom in it. But all in all, the rest of the story I thought was very well done.
Okay. Yeah, so like why I recommend this film actually, a couple key points I like is actually one of the most humorous
Why
parts.
are you recommending the movie?
Well, I'm just
It's
saying.
my turn.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying why I recommended it to you was.
Oh, I see.
Because actually one of the funniest parts of the movie next to the dancing is actually the part where Patrick goes into detention and the teacher comes
I forgot about that.
And he's like, I smell pot. And he's like, no, sir. He's like, give it to me. He gives it to him. And then he walks like a couple steps forward and there's this guy that's got like Cheetos. And he's like, I'm confiscating those too.
Yeah, I'm taking these too.
It leads into that he's going to smoke the pot and he's actually going to eat the Cheetos.
Yeah.
But also too is the biggest part of that movie that really draws me in every time. And I'm going to admit this, I do cry. I bawl like a little kid. And I would have to say the ending, her poem. I think the poem part where she's, because if you don't know the story, what happens is she finds out that he's being paid to go out with her.
Correct.
And she doesn't like that. But she fell in love with him. And he actually falls in love with her.
Mm-hmm. Like every other teen movie.
She does this whole poem that's actually part of why the movie's named 10 Things I Hate About You.
Because it's the 10 things.
Yeah.
And that took me a while to figure out because I'm thinking, as I'm watching this movie before I go right to the end, I'm like, so was I supposed to infer what the 10 things were here? I'm thinking I missed something somewhere.
But that poem, when she talks about it, and then she starts bawling, and she realizes that she really loves him.
Yeah.
That was very emotional to me. Like when I was a kid watching it, I was like, wow, I want someone, because that's the biggest thing in life you always want is someone to love you back like that. And
well, honestly, too, if in the behind the scenes stuff that I watched. The two lady writers, and if I understood them right, I don't think they actually had written in there that she was supposed to cry. And they said when she read that and she started crying and went out there, and I think that's one of the scenes of the whole movie they got in one take, and they were just blown away by how well that was done.
But yeah, I really like the movie, so you did too. So it's something that's it's standard type deal, but it's a hidden gem in my opinion because. There is some things that they never touch base on, and the humor is hilarious. I love it.
It is. Well, I mean, if you look at it was Heath Ledger's first American movie. He did an excellent job. Again, he never sang before. I mean, one of the shower singers, whatever. But I forget. I mean, you know more about that. I think that or read more about that. That this is the first time he had to sing. Was scared to death about singing. Did an excellent job. He had danced when he was younger, just at home, kind of things. I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that.
And he does an excellent job. Just kind of a light dance on the steps, and then like you said, the comical part when the two cops are chasing him was really funny. And then he pats when he's running back down, he pats the one guy on the bus. Get me, That was even my wife saw that. She thought that was really funny, really funny. So,
but yeah. So moving on, I picked a stinker. Complete bomb,
stinker.
Just terrible movie. So he challenged me to watch
Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
1960.
Because if I'm not 64, if I'm not mistaken, if you look on the list of movies that are bad of all time, I'm pretty sure that's kind of like up in the top 5.
Well, it's so bad that it's on YouTube. It's just,
and they won't take it off.
And they won't take it off because no one cares to take it off.
He's the only one that's watching probably the last 10 years.
Well, actually, no. What's really surprising is when I read the comments at YouTube, there's been people that are watching it. I actually think John Call, the guy that plays Santa, is like the best Santa ever portrayed.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, I don't know about this. Okay, so... this movie is, when I ask for a stinker or something, I like to watch bad movies, but, this one categorizes not in, The Room.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Or, Plan 9 from Outer Space. It categorizes in, something that's
the trash can?
Trash. You just throw it right away. And the reason why I picked this was because, I kind of like to watch things that are just terrible, but I want to laugh about it. This movie, I didn't laugh one bit. I actually thought it was pretty ridiculous. Okay, so what the story is, the plot, I'm not really going to get into it too much, but, the main summary of the plot is the Martians kidnap Santa Claus because there's no one to give presents on Mars.
And they need that.
And they need that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But what I like about this movie, what I can say I like about this movie is how corny they make everything. The aliens, oh my gosh, it was painted green, and they just had this green helmet and it had one antenna, and the other one had
it's black and white. It's hard to tell if it's even green.
Oh no, actually they put it in color.
Oh, they colorized
it? Yeah, they put it in color in YouTube. So I never watched the black and white version. I watched the color version.
Oh wow.
But It was actually interesting, like, very interesting with the colors and stuff, and how they like portray everything. They're like, "Oh my gosh, Santa's going to be delivering these presents," and then they're like, "He's been gone missing. The Martians have kidnapped him."
Oh, no.
And I don't know if it was a TV made movie, and then it was put in that.
I never looked that up. I don't know.
I don't know. I never looked in too much about it. I just watched.
But you'd be surprised the number of movies that you think were actually on TV growing up because you saw them on TV.
Oh yeah.
But that were really in the theater, and you think, my God, they put that in the theater?
You're
and that could have been one of them too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing was overall this movie is not great. The story lacks. It's a ridiculous plot. Now,
but the thing of it isn't the best moment when the kids get Santa back and they're, "Oh, but Santa Claus, oh, you're back."
It falls in that trope of like the original, all the old movies where they have to have a happy ending. And which is fine. I understand because you should have a happy ending in Santa Conquers the Martians. I would
in most
that.
movies, anyway.
But overall, this movie just kind of didn't tickle my funny bone. It wasn't one of those movies where it was so bad. That
You didn't tell me you wanted a funny stinker. You just said a stinker.
I just said
so
stinker.
Hey,
that's what I'm saying.
I know a stinker.
And I have to watch those stinkers to figure out if I like it or not.
Yeah, that's true.
But overall, if I had to rate this movie, I'd probably rate it maybe a 1.5.
2? You won't give it
maybe
a 2?
I won't give it a 2.
But it is Christmas. Give it a 2.
No, I'm gonna give it 1.5. Just because the thing is
1.5 out of 10. That is
the thing is I've seen a lot of bad movies, and the only reason why I like those bad movies is because they're funny, because they're ridiculously out there, but they're coherent, kind of their story. They kind of know what they're doing. This one was just everywhere with every other story. It was just this whole plot that was just like, he got kidnapped, we're gonna save him, and I was like, oh my gosh, this hour and a half piece of crap that I'm watching. Thanks, Paul.
You're quite welcome.
You're welcome. But overall, would I recommend this film? Probably not, but if you're into just watching bad movies, I would recommend watching the bad movie. But overall, why did you pick that movie? Do you remember why?
Because I saw it when I was younger and I saw it when I was older, and I know both times it was terrible. And I know I've seen some lists it's been on. It's just, I mean, not always, and even for 64, I don't know if they decided, hey, this is so bad, we're not going to try to do anything to fix the film when they put it on video or when they were showing it on TV and stuff, because it always looks bad, no matter what.
No, that's true. It just looks terrible. It's one of those movies where you're just like, turn.
Well, actually, like,
click.
Can I fix the tracking on this video? You're hitting the button, it's like, man, it doesn't look any better.
And if you ever get used to it, it's film back then used to be highly flammable. You could just start a fire.
Oh, there you go.
During the winter. So,
that's true.
There's always a positive.
Throw some paper in the bucket and
okay,
in the trash can.
So next week on our show, we're actually going to be watching, I am going to pick the genre. Let me just look at my notes real quick. I'm going to pick War.
And I'm going to have you watch.
Okay.
Of course, again, I'm then, so it's mostly going to be older movies. Even though I might lean towards the 70s, I'm trying to stay out of there a bit. Sergeant York from 1941.
Sergeant York.
Yes.
See, like, when you said Sergeant York the first time when because we, no secret behind this, but, the thing is we do come up with the genres before we start a podcast, and then we talk about it. But the only reason when you said Sergeant York, I thought of Wayne's World. Because he's like, Sergeant York, right? Like, we didn't even notice, so that's all I know about Sergeant York. So
you don't know anything at all?
No, nothing at all.
One of the most decorated Marines.
So it was actually, what year was Sergeant York?
41.
41. Okay.
So the quality still should be okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure might be, it depends upon where you find it. If it's on TCM, they've probably cleaned it up and made it a little bit better, because they do restore a lot of films.
Well, that
company off there.
I can kind of look at it, like, going into this film already, that it's one of those war films where it's like, yeah, we're going to war, guys. I think that's what I'm feeling, but you never know, because
not so much.
I don't feel like they've ever, kind of transitioned to that until probably Saving Private Ryan.
This one's more. It's more centered around him.
Okay.
It's not about the whole war and a bunch of troops on the thing.
Like
Here we're going, and better. I would guess.
Okay,
for
good.
An older movie.
Okay. So then you picked
spy film.
Okay, so I'm going to make him.
And wait a minute. I thought maybe he'd give me like watching Sean Connery as James Bond or something.
But that's you.
Even the Bean.
That would be in you.
Even thinking the Bean. But no, he gives me something
I've
never seen.
Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. It stars Gary Oldman, Tom Hardy, and actually Benedict Cumberbatch.
Wow.
But it's about a British intelligence conspiracy.
Oh, wow.
So you'll
It does
really,
sound
really
interesting.
like it. It's on Netflix, so if you haven't watched it, you might want to check that out on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Yep. And then come join us when we do the review.
Yeah. So so that's exactly what we're gonna do next week, and then we'll talk about it. So if you like my channel, like, subscribe, comment. Did you watch any of these films? Did you even go in now and watch this piece of crap film? Was like, wow, this is terrible. Just tell us at the comments.
Excuse me. And also, let us know if you like Austin's hat. He likes wearing that in the videos.
Well,
With me, I probably need a hat, but hey.
Well, there's a different purpose for this hat. We'll talk about that some other time. But the thing
Messy
is,
hair.
But just remember, if you're not nerd enough, you're not classy enough for this channel.
Thanks for joining.